Hey guys, Dan at SP Motorsport. So we're going to try a couple new things here. We have our 24 Darkhorse behind us, and we wanted to put together a build series for you guys. So we're doing we're going to do a bolt-on build series with this car, where we're going to kind of walk you through some new product development on it, some products that we already make for it, put them on it, you know, kind of walk through the paces with the car, because right now the car is completely bone stock. So we want to show you guys kind of how to install parts, what goes into developing them, and then obviously the outcomes of doing all that work. And then it's kind of cool, because then you guys know what you're getting to when you're purchasing a product. You see what goes into it and kind of what to expect from it. So yeah, so behind me is our 24 Mustang. It's a Darkhorse. This is it was strictly purchased for a test car to develop products on. And yeah, they're not an easy way to say it, but for a long time they were a pain in the ass to get. So we finally got this one a couple months ago, probably like a month or so ago, and we waited around for it. We put an order in. We had a hold up because it was the track pack set up for it was causing it to hold up, and it was a pain. But we ended up knocking that off. It got built a lot quicker, and now we got it. So we've had some, you know, 24 Mustang GT parts in the pipeline, and a lot of that stuff carries over to the Darkhorse, but there's also a lot of things that don't carry over. So there's some chassis part differences. There's, you know, some brake system stuff. There's interior stuff. Not a lot, but a little bit of things. And obviously the appearance stuff. And there's even some things with the engine that are supposedly different. But basically it's a pumped up Mustang GT. It's got obviously a little more horsepower from the factory. Tunes a little bit better. But once again, a lot of the GT and Darkhorse stuff will carry over. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, so today we're going to do our first video. We're going to baseline the car. We're going to get a nice dyno number out of it, set a baseline so that as we do this bolt-on build series, it'll be something we can kind of look back to if we need to, and you guys know where we're starting. And then everything will be on the same dyno too, so it'll be a good gauge. Yeah, so today we're going to do a baseline, and then we have a pre-production air filter setup or air intake setup actually for this car that we've been working on, that will work on the Darkhorse and the GT Mustangs. So the twin throttle body, the Gen 4 stuff. So we're going to go ahead and strap her down, and then get you guys a solid baseline. There's different suspension components on the back of this. Yeah, so this actually has the GT500 style vertical links is what they call them on the back. So that makes sense. It might just be an older style piece of suspension. So the easy way to just kill the advanced track and all the other stuff is you just pull this out of this cap. They're usually always in the fender wall right here, at least on the more modern ones. So step one. Oh no, what are we gonna do?
Mustang has a virus.
Oh no. All right, so we're gonna dyno this thing, get a baseline. So we were looking at the factory specs as far as horsepower goes. We all know they're supposed to be 500 at the crank, and the GT is supposed to be 480 at the crank horsepower. So we started pulling up some stuff, and I noticed on the technical spec sheet from Ford that they're doing it in PS, which is like a German metric rating for horse strength is what they call it. So why Ford decided to measure it this way, I'm not 100% sure, but what we're going to do is we're going to calculate that, which is like by 0.986 or something. I have a calculator pulled up. We're going to calculate that over to horsepower. So the GT, Ford has listed at 446 PS at 7250. And let's see what we got here. For the Darkhorse, we're at 453 PS at 7250. So same RPM. So what I'm going to do is throw this in a calculator here. And that comes out to 446 horsepower for the Darkhorse. And then for the Mustang GT, it comes out to 439.899. So call it 440 horsepower. So we should be seeing around 446 at the tire. That's roughly what we should be seeing. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll have to look and see what our exact elevation is right now, but it's all corrected in the dyno anyway. So it'll be interesting to see though. We're about, what's the dyno saying we're at right now? I think we're at like 65-ish inside. So it'll be interesting to see how close we are to those specifications. So once again, for our baseline, car's completely stock. It has no modifications other than it was ceramic coated and PPF'd. So we're gonna make a couple hits here on the dyno, see how close we are together. We're gonna let it cool, and then we're gonna show you the intake system we're gonna put on it for testing and talk about that a little bit. And then we'll get dyno numbers on that too. So stick around.
What was that?
406. It's up there. It's the second one. I did a little, I always do a little blip to make sure everything's reading right. So the first one's relevant, but the second, pretty weak. 406.
Yeah, maybe that makes sense if it was 440 something at the crank, 406 at the wheel.
They say 500. So let's go have a look at that. Everything was up to temperature. We can do another hit here in a second. Yeah, so it was 406, 384. And then peak power was at 6150 too, not at 7250. So that'll be interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, the other thing I'll check too, just to make sure, I'll check the, I've had a couple instances where the gear ratio the calculator will be slightly off.
And that will affect how it reads.
Yes, it'll affect how it reads. So I'll run it up through a couple different RPMs when I'm checking it and just make sure it stays pretty on point, you know what I mean? That was weird.
Did you do that?
No.
It just revved itself?
I put the clutch in and I put it in gear and it revved up.
I thought you did that.
I did not do that. I was like, what the fuck? It was like it was trying to rev match.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay.
Pretty much dead on. Hey, now I just thought about, I did exhaust shut. It's not available right now? Fuck off.
Because you got everything unplugged.
What? What the fuck do you do about that? That's weird. It's a transmission code too. Dude, I wonder if that's why it did that rev.
Like that?
Yeah, I bet that's why.
That might have been what made it throw the code, is it got a little confused for a second.
Yeah, let's wipe these out. Yeah, that was super weird.
Yeah.
I was like, I push the clutch in, put it in gear, and it's like, ah! Active exhaust motors are also on the same fuse as cooling fan relay, variable oil pump, active grill shutter, AC compressor, engine coolant bypass valve.
Kind of need a lot of that.
Yeah, we need a lot of that stuff, so can't pull the fuse, so we're gonna have to go under there and disconnect them.
Unplug the harness.
I'll just unplug them, yeah. So the car is not happy and it's locking out the mode selector, which is kind of normal whenever you have the ABS and all the lights on for the car. But we cleared codes and we still can't change mode, and for some reason it's locking out the exhaust valve. So the exhaust valves are staying in normal mode rather than being open. I'm pretty sure that's why the power number's down a little bit. So we were able to clear the codes, get it into track mode real quick. Now we're gonna go underneath and disconnect the active exhaust valves, and then that should leave them defaulted to track mode because that's just where they're sitting now. So we'll go do that. Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, it's all the way towards the tip, huh?
Yeah, it's all the way at the back. There, okay, that one's disconnected. Okay. All right, let's try that. Well, that didn't matter.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit less than the first one.
Yeah. So the exhaust valves did nothing. And they're definitely open now. I mean, you can definitely open now. So. Oh. Did that speed thing. Limited it. It's doing that speed thing. It hit limiter like 5,000.
Really?
Yeah. So there's our exhaust valves, which we knew we would have that. But we got a P1934 vehicle speed signal current DTC. Yeah. Weird.
All kinds of transcodes, huh?
Yeah, well the ABS stuff's just because we're sitting here spinning the back tires.
Yeah.
Which that probably wouldn't have thrown if I'd have left that disconnected. But yeah, these are all exhaust valve. ABS, ECM, PCM. It's all pissed off about some shit. I don't know. Let me clear these and then we'll go back and run this one more time.
Better.
That was a little better. At least it's flat. The curve's at least flat now. So, yeah, I'll take that. Should we do another one back to back? Now I feel like we need to do another one.
It's just gaining power now.
It's gaining power. So the temperature's been steady the whole time. So
It's not super hot in here, and that fan's blowing pretty cold air. So
yeah, might be fine. All right, let's do one more then.
Okay.
I think it's learning.
They just keep going now, or
Do we stop till it plateaus? Like, what do you?
lose this power?
Yeah, like, what are we doing? Or it's learning and it just keeps adding timing.
It's getting happier.
Yeah. All right, so we ended up redisconnecting the dyno plug, basically, is what I call it. I don't know what the proper term is, but we hooked it back up just to see what happened. The car definitely didn't like it, so we unplugged it again. We had a check engine light for a weird speed sensor thing that it was doing. We cleared the check engine light, and it kept coming back. Then we unhooked that again, cleared it, and it was fine. And then every pull we've made, it keeps going up in power. So we're thinking, because of the reset on the check engine light, that it's kind of relearning, and I feel like it's probably adding timing because we keep doing watt pulls. So the PCM's getting used to what it's doing now again, and I think it's adding timing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a baseline pull, another baseline pull, we're gonna log it, and then make another pull, log it again, and then we'll look at the two as a stock car. We'll look at the two and see if it's actually adding timing or if it stays the same or whatever it may be. So, and just check it, and then we'll do the same logging as we put on the intake, the air intake system and all that, so we have really nice things to compare. But the crazy part is how much it's changing as we keep running it. The car only has I think it was 114 miles on it. So the car doesn't really have that much drive time on it. So I think it may be you know, maybe it's looking at the watt pulls that we're doing now and it's saying, all right, we can add more time, we can add more timing. So it still has a window that it can work within. So it's only going to add to a point, but we kind of want to see what it's doing. So yeah, so let's log it, make another pull. All right,
14.
now I feel like we've reached that point. So.
Yeah,
I think we can call it.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I'd say 415. Yeah, like if we average them out. So, yeah. But I'll save this log and then we can review them real quick. Yeah, at the end of the pool. At the end of the pool, it had dropped to 28. So basically, we saw a peak at watt of 30 and then it dropped down to about 28. So it actually pulled a little bit there. So cool. On this dyno. So let me get that out of the way here. Not bad. You guys are seeing the first fit of this. So it's not even like this is literally the first time this has been on this car.